This is a special podcast presentation from 700WLW.com. This is Doc Thompson On Demand.
The doctors on 700 WLW. Following the president on 700 WLW. And that was a pretty speech. It was flowery and it was nice. It was passionate. It really pulled right there. Get you right there. It's very touching. But it's complete horse crap. It's complete horse crap. The numbers he cited, Warren Buffett's secretary paying less tax than he does. It's garbage. You're talking about two different tax structures. The way people make their money and how they make their money. When he talks about teachers paying more, well, depends on their circumstance, doesn't it? Depends on what deductions you have. As a teacher, as a radio host, as a president, whatever your job is. It depends on how many kids you have, whether or not you're married, if your spouse is working. All of these things. It depends on if you own a house, if you have investments. It depends on if you drive and if you smoke and all of these things. Because all of those things have to do with taxes and the way you pay taxes. All of those things. So if the president really wants tax reform, go get him, Barry. I'm right behind you. I got your back on this one, Barry. If you're serious and you want to lay down your partisan stance, I'm with you. I'm with you all the way. Let's go get that tax reform. Let's get it done. One paragraph. That's it. The federal government's tax code can be one paragraph. Everybody pays 10% of income. Done. No deductions, no extras, no exceptions. Now, you clean it up with a couple of more statements to what defines income, whether or not corporations are going to be taxed. But for individuals, everybody pay 10%. That's tax reform. Problem is when the president or Republicans, when they talk about tax reform, they're often using tax reform to get more taxes for the things they want. So they can talk about lobbyists. The president has his own lobbyists as well. Democrats have their lobbyists. The Republicans have their lobbyists. They have people who get money from them. The president gave $500 million to Solyndra, which was a bad idea with no oversight. And he lost it. He speculated. Remember when he said how speculators had killed the economy? Speculating is bad. Speculating is not bad. That's what built the economy. It's one of the things that builds a free market capitalist system. He speculated with your money on Solyndra and lost. So if the president wants true tax reform, I am with him. No, not partisanship. I'm not saying where that money should be spent once they get that revenue. I'm saying you want true tax reform that's fair across the board, then it would apply to everybody equally. See, the president's vision of fair is not fair. It's fair as he sees it. And the Republicans' vision of fair is fair as they see it. The only way you could determine fair is if it is applied equally. 10% across the board, no EPs, no extras, no exceptions, no deductions. Everybody vested at the same percentage and you move on. If you make more, God bless you. You were lucky or you worked hard. Applied equally across the board. That's it. Until then, it's bogus. It's campaign fireworks. It's a dog and pony show. It's a circus to get reelected. He called out John Boehner so he can gin up support for people on his side, make John Boehner look insensitive, scaring seniors that John's going to take money from him. The Republicans are evil because that's what they do. And the Republicans on their side point to the same things the Democrats that they're doing wrong in order to gin up support. Same as it ever was. Once again, showing a lack of leadership and no effective plan to turn the economy around. When the president said both sides agreed on, was it $4 trillion? $4 trillion in cuts that need to happen? Both sides have agreed to that, then both sides are sorely short in how many cuts we need. $4 trillion will not touch the national deficit. Our national debt is almost $15 trillion now and growing by $1.5 trillion a year. $4 trillion cut, that takes care of a couple of years. That $4 trillion is over 10 years. It's not going to do anything. Leadership will lay out a plan of equal taxes across the board by percentage, no exceptions, that would be slightly higher at the beginning to pay off some of the debt, and spending cuts to go along with it that will balance the budget. If the president came out with a plan and said, Doc, here it is. We're going to have a 15% federal tax, income tax, no exceptions across the board, and spending cuts to go along with it that will balance the budget. And part of those line items will be to pay off the national debt. But in so many years, 5 years, 10 years, whatever down the road, that percent will drop down to 13 as we begin to pay off the national debt. And from there, it'll go down to 12 and finally settle off at 10 after 10 or 15 years or whatever. Fine, I'm with it. Let's go do it. But he didn't do that. He continued to play politics. It's Doc Thompson, 700 WLW.